So what you're saying is that your position was just snatched from you without any merit, no reason,
right.
no explanation. It's just gone.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So once they took your position, tell me, and you were assigned to exile.
Well, by that I mean I was placed in a makeshift position. There was
Okay.
no structured position
Okay.
there, and it was nothing that would develop a person's career.
I got you. Okay. And did they give you any explanation as to why at any point in time?
No, no.
None. Wow. Okay. So, and what I understand is that that event in Korea was the ultimately the end of your army career, or the start to the end of your army career.
Okay, the first incident was the relieving me of my duty that I was sent there for.
Right.
But more significantly, another position as a commanding officer of the company was being transferred, leaving a vacancy. And the rumor was he was going to give it to another lieutenant with my rank. And I approached the colonel, Colonel Lollibury, and I said, "Sir, you removed me from my first position that I was sent here for, and now there's another position that could enhance my career, and I'd like to be considered for that." He said, "You think you can handle that?" I said, "Sir," I said, "I've been vetted and trained and tested the same as the others officers. If they can handle it, I can handle it."
So at this point, is this when you left Korea?
No. This is where the very traumatic problem cause occurred that was a problem for the Army, problem for me, problem for the colonel, and problem for other people. Here's what happened. I left there thinking I'm going to be assigned to the headquarters company. Ironically, the commander's own command sergeant major approached me and said, "I need to tell you something, Captain Smith. I was in meeting when the colonel planned to put you in charge of that company. And once you sign for the property, all of the equipment, supplies, jeeps, guns, bedding, once you sign for it, he's going to take you out of that position the same day, and he's going to charge you with everything that's missing." Now, he said, "I'm retired." And he said, quote, "I'm tired of this shit. If you need a statement from me, here is my home address, and I will send you a statement." And he did. Now, when the colonel called me, walked into his office, and he had a sardonic smile on his face, not sincere, cynical, I would say. He said, "Lieutenant Smith, did you sign for any property that you shouldn't have?" And I said, "Sir, I don't think so. But I know what you've done already to my career." And I said, "I feel like little David facing Goliath. You've messed my career up. I'm going to have your ass, sir." And he smiled. Then he said, "When I'm done with you, you'll wish you had never been born." I said, "Okay, I want permission to leave the command and report to the Inspector General." I left Daegu, Korea, and went to Seoul, Korea, the capital, and met with the Inspector General. I suppose at that point I was indignant, irate, and my attitude was out of focus. I met first with a black major, and he said, Smith, what's the problem? And I said, sir, you don't have to ask me what the problem is because I've documented it. Words don't mean nothing. I said, I documented it. He said, don't be smart. In just a minute. He said, I've read it. And if everything you say in that document is true, you're going to be all right. And I said, fine. I can't stay in this command. Send me back to the United States. They sent me back 8 months on a 12-month assignment, which means I didn't do 4 months that I was sent there for because of the colonel's decision to manipulate and to treat me in the manner that he did.
Okay, so at this point you're leaving Korea and you're headed to, what is your next assignment?
Actually, when I left Korea, I went straight to the Pentagon, the big octagon building where all the generals and staff is. And they had an appointment set up for me. So upon arrival, I was told to go get some lunch, and I would meet with the board at 1 o'clock. That was 11:30. So I milled around and thought things over and got a snack, and at 1 o'clock sharp, I reported to special board. And when I reported in, standing at attention with a salute, I believe it was 8-man panel said, Eddie Smith, you want a chair? I said, no, sir, I'm comfortable standing at parade rest. That's my legs apart, standing in a comfortable position with my hands folded behind my back. Kind of amusing to them. The first officer asked me, he said, Lieutenant Smith, you say you were discriminated against in Korea. Explain that. I said, sir, the only thing I can tell you is that before I joined the Army, I was from a small rural community that was mostly African American. Had no problem with blacks. What I know about discrimination is what I've heard about. The only thing I can say is I was treated different than my white colleagues. And I am just now getting started as an officer. And my career is ending for some reason other than what the Army regulations and rules call for. Okay? I was asked another question, and I don't believe, I can't recall what the question was, but it was along the same lines. And I said, sir, I said, let me suggest to you that in most cases when black people are complaining against the majority, they're not given any credibility or paid any attention, so just turn me down and send it up, and the people above you will overrule your decision. I'm confident of that. And they smiled, and they said, Smith, you're dismissed. You're going to be fine. And at that point, I was assigned temporarily to Fort Meade, Maryland. Later, I was assigned to Fort Sheridan, Illinois. When I got to Fort Sheridan, Illinois, it was kind of like a twist of fate. Nothing had happened within a year. So when the time come for me to get an efficiency rating, there was a delayed report, but there was a letter from Department of the Army to me explaining that based on the communication that I had submitted in other correspondence, that all of the correspondence pertaining to my assignment in Korea, to include 2 efficiency reports, were expunged from my record, and that my record would be sent back for any promotional consideration that I may have been denied, and the delayed reports that the colonel in Korea tried to submit were similarly denied. Now, that sounds like a victory. And of course I was happy because there was some vindication there. But look at it this way. Let's say you go to college for a year and you get to the end and you got an incomplete as a grade. What have you achieved?
Nothing.
I haven't achieved anything. And career has followed me to Fort Sheridan, because the officers that's rating me there clearly states that they were instructed to take those 4 months that I should have been in Korea to make 12-month period, add it on to their efficient report as if I had been there for those 4 months when I wasn't even at that station. So once again, I'm thrown into the twilight zone.